Hello and good afternoon friends, welcome once again to CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, as you know that we try to bring out and bring for you new subjects, new topics, and under these topics we try to bring a very rich content for you. Today also we are going to talk on a very important topic. You might have read about it, you might have heard about it. So opening the mystery, I would like to tell you that today we are going to discuss on water resources. Under this topic we are going to cater for you the following points, or you can say that the bullet points on which we are going to talk are water resources distribution, hydrological cycle, global water crisis, as well as water conservation. And for this we have again with us in our studios Dr. B.W. Pandey. He is an associate professor in Delhi School of Economics, Department of Geography, Delhi University. As well as I would like to tell you all that he has authored numerous books, among which some are Geo-Environmental Hazard, another is Natural Resource Management and hazard ecology, as well as he has visited almost 24 countries, I could say, for his research work. So taking advantage from his experience, I hope that today's lecture is going to be one of the most productive lectures. So welcome once again sir, to the EDISET lecture, and I hope that all the students who might be watching us right now would be benefited from this particular lecture. So over to you.
Thank you, Kritika. We are going to discuss about water resources, its availability, mechanism of potential water resources, its distribution in the global scale, also the relationship of the different environmental conditions, different environmental climatic conditions, different geo-environmental biotic conditions, and its importance. I will also discuss the scarcity of the water at the global scale, and most important point will be its management. Management, like water, is a key resource for our quality of life. It also provides natural habitats and ecosystem for plant and animal species. Almost 88% of the population of 1.2 billion has access to drinking water from improved services in 2008 as compared to 68% in 1990. So conditions for improving the fresh water, tap water, drinking water at the mass level. Only quarter the total population in India has drinking water on their premise. The rest of the people, they have to fetch the water. They have to collect the water from different sources. Women who have to collect the drinking water are vulnerable to a number of unsafe practices. Only 13% of the adult male collect water, rest of all the water collected by female across the country. And mainly in the western part of India like Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the northern part of India like Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, where the women are assigned their domestic household work and especially to collect the water. 67% of Indian households do not treat their drinking water, even though it could be chemically or bacterially contaminated. The waterborne diseases are dominating in India, and see, post-monsoon season is having acute waterborne diseases, a number of physical, chemical, biological components which affected due to monsoon, post-monsoon season, they're all concerned with the water. And due lack of awareness, even hardly 67% of the Indian household population, they do not treat their water. That is the source of unsafe drinking water. This is the basic root cause for the different kinds of diseases. As you know, the distribution of land and water in the world, so almost 71% of the earth covered with water and only 29% with the land. So water, which is confined in the ocean, this is indirectly is our resource, but it's direct fresh water, we are very limited, and also the land. Land, only 29% of the earth, and the kind of lifestyle, kind of food habits, kind of development which is taking place in the world. If you take the developed countries, their lifestyle, we need another planet resources for the survival. So land, which is 29%, is not all utilizable. So potential farming areas are hardly, say, 8% in the tropical area, 6% in the arid area. Overall, 11% cultivated, 10% under grazing system, 51% land of the earth, either ice-capped, snow-covered areas, desert area, and the mountainous areas, which is least economically utilizable. Let's come to the hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle means circulation of water in various forms. And you know, water is the component which is found in all the three states, liquid, gas, and the solid states. The hydrological cycle comprises the movement of water in various forms, in various realms, means movement of water from hydrosphere to atmosphere, from atmosphere to lithosphere, lithosphere covering the biosphere, and again it comes back to the hydrosphere, to the ocean. Means from ocean to continents and from continents to ocean. Hydrological cycle includes a number of components like evaporation, condensation, precipitation, sublimation, evapotranspiration, ablation, percolation, and finally runoff. All these processes involved in the hydrological cycle. The global hydrological cycle involves the balance between evaporation and precipitation over the Earth's surface. The pattern of balance between evaporation and precipitation is not uniform over the ocean and the continent. Evaporation exceeds precipitation over the ocean, and we see the total evaporation from the ocean is 4,55,000 cubic kilometer. 4,55,000 cubic kilometer is the total evaporation from the ocean, and total evaporation from the continents are 62,000 cubic kilometer. So the difference, because ocean, a water body, with the insolation, there's more and more evaporation. So 4,55,000 cubic kilometer evaporation takes place in the ocean, 62,000 cubic kilometer from the continent, that is water bodies like rivers, lakes, ponds, and other different biotic communities. Then you come to the total rainfall. So out of 4,55,000 cubic kilometer of evaporation, in the ocean there are 4,09,000 cubic kilometer rainfall in the ocean. Means there is a deficiency of about 46,000 cubic kilometer. So in the initial stage, there is a total loss of 46,000 cubic kilometer in the ocean. As compared to the continent have 62,000 cubic kilometer total evaporation, and at best place continents have 108,000 cubic kilometer rainfall. It means there is a 46,000 cubic kilometer profit, that's a benefit, excess water over the continent, and this water ultimately through the percolation, through the runoff, that is called drainage, through the rivers, ultimately drains back to the ocean. This complete cycle called hydrological cycle, from ocean to continents and again back from continents to ocean. Now, which are the drivers of water consumption? Drivers of water consumption, mostly the human being, that's population. Food consumption, economic policies, including water pricing, technology, increased efficiency, increased demand, lifestyle, mainly recreation, societal value of fresh water and ecosystem. These are the major drivers, consumers of the water resource. And if you see this data, there is a lot of disparity at the global scale. Many regions in the world have large amount of water, very high per capita water, and other countries very low per capita water. And also the nature of consumption of water. See, the different domestic, industrial, agriculture. So if you compare the Middle East where there is the dry area, less rainfall, but they need irrigation water, so there is more agricultural consumption of water, less industrial. While other countries where, like North America, Europe, where the consumption of water for industry is maximum. They are industrialized countries where climate is very suitable and having annual precipitation more than 200 centimeter. Therefore, the maritime climate in Europe, there is no irrigational requirement of water, very less. So there is a maximum consumption of water either at the domestic level or at the industrial level. The distribution of population and water resources, you can compare, you can see the North America having only 8% of the total population of the world, having 15% of the global water. Then compare South America, having only 6% of the world population and have almost 26% of the global fresh water because of precipitation, rivers, glaciers, different sources of water. Europe continent have approximately 13% of the world population and have 8% of the global water. Africa continent have 13% world population and 11% global water. Then you compare the Asia continent, 60% of the world population, 60% of the world population and only 36% of the global water. Means here ratio is just reversed, opposite. The relationship between the population and water resources just doubled. On the other hand, a dry continent like the Australia continent having less than 1% of the world population and have almost 5% of the global water. There are massive, large-scale underground water, artesian water in Australia, that is artesian basin, artesian country. So having 5% of the global water. So distribution of water resources is highly uneven and population is also highly uneven. So, but availability of water per capita definitely is very high in North America, South America, Europe, Australia as compared to Asia continent. There are different threats to the freshwater resources. Climate change causes change in frequencies of droughts and floods. Climate change is a universal phenomena, global phenomena, and a real challenge for freshwater. Due to climate change, there is a excessive ablation over the mountains. Mountain glaciers like Himalayan mountain glacier, Hindu Kush Karakoram mountain glacier, Rocky Mountains, Andes Mountains, Alps Mountains, these are the ultimate source of the fresh water in different continents. Due to very high altitude and large size of glacier, the glacier of the mountains are considered as water tower of the world, from where large number of rivers drain out in various directions, bring fresh water to the lowland people. Large size of population depend on the fresh water carried by rivers, lakes. Due to climate change, due to excessive ablation, melting of glacier called ablation, there is a massive runoff and water drain to the sea. Due to climate change, due to global warming, if the condition will continue, a day will come, not only size of the glacier are sinking, the actual number of glaciers are also sinking. Hence, there is a threat of the water crisis at the global scale. And due to sinking the source of water, increasing population, the quality and quantity of water and the number of population, its ratio is always being vulnerable. And this is the reason that, how the water has become big economy. Behind this, climate change is another factor, the important factor. Changing the glacial behavior, changing the rainfall pattern, anomalies in rainfall, there is a shift of the paradigms of the monsoon. All these are ultimate source of water on the continents is the rainfall, snowfall, precipitation. And if there is an impact, negative impact on the precipitation, anomaly of the precipitation, that will largely affect the availability of fresh water. So climate change is a big issue regarding threat to the water resource. Depletion of aquifers caused by overconsumption as a result of population growth. Friends, I would like to tell you, Delhi NCR region, Punjab, Haryana region, Rajasthan region, where there is a more extraction of water, more consumption of water as compared to its recharge. The amount of permeation, percolation, means permeability, porosity, the total aquifers recharge is less as compared the discharge of underground water. See how the Delhi has become national capital territory and it has become NCR, National Capital Region. Due to concrete surface, the percolation of water, recharge of underground water has declined. As compared to this, increase in population, there is excessive discharge of underground water. Therefore, the underground water level in Delhi and NCR region have become very, very vulnerable, very, very low. Similarly, in Punjab and Haryana, Rajasthan region, where apart from the canal irrigation, there is a large scale dependency on underground water tube wells. Tube wells, underground water discharge for irrigation is maximum. Therefore, thousands of the tube wells have failed because the water level has declined. So, discharge of water and pollution and contamination by sewage, agricultural and industrial runoff. Friends, there is not only quantitative degradation of water, quantitative reduction of water, but also there is qualitative deterioration, qualitative degradation of water due to pollution, industrial pollution, agricultural pollution, domestic waste, all contaminate the underground water as well as river water, lake water, all kinds of surface water. See the map, find the current stress water and global scale. There are many areas where the availability of water is very acute, very acute. For example, the Central and Western Asia, Northern Africa, that is called, this region historically known as Maghreb region. Maghreb covers MENA, called Middle East, and the North Africa. These countries covering the West Asia, North Africa have acute shortage of water. Also, the desert region of the North America, where the Mojave Desert, Sonoran Desert, Painted Desert, Arizona Desert, this region have also acute crisis of water. While Australia, where rainfall is less, almost 80% part of Australia is desert area. Because of less population, so water stress is less. But the countries, more populated countries like India and China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these countries have severe shortage of water, acute shortage of water. The projected water scarcity from the International Water Management Institute initiative that have given the a projection by 2025, the regions including Africa continent and Asia continent. Asia and Africa will be acute crisis of water resource. And mainly India, Pakistan, China, South Africa, Maghreb countries, where there's a availability of water will be definitely very, very low. This is the reason that many political analysts, they have predicted that we may have another world war in the future, and that world war will not for the petroleum, will not for the gold, that world war will be for water. And see, looking this global scarcity of water, global disparity of water, how the economics have changed the water commerce, water economics. At what extent level the water resource has become commercialized. You know, if you look 50 years back, 100 years back, our forefathers, they would have never admired that a day will come when water will be a commodity of sale, commodity of trade, commodity of business. Never. Water was a commodity to donate. Say earlier, there were king, Maharajas, and their sole responsibility was to develop the ponds, lakes, wells, so that the travelers, the common people, can get fresh water. Free. Water resource historically linked with a spiritual commodity. A spiritual commodity. Donation. Distribution. Free. In the sake of community service. Then, after the declining of the Maharajas and the Emperor's kingdom, then you see, say 20 years back, 30 years back, Jamidars, they used to develop pyau, free water to the people, pyau. And now, see, due to reducing the availability of water, how it has become a commodity of trade, commerce, business. Friends, now you can find water in a tank. You can buy a tanker of the water. You can buy water in a jar of water. You can buy a bottle of water and a pouch of water. See at what extent at global scale there is commercialization of water resources, which was a source of a spiritual donation. A spiritual social service now has become commercial service, commercial trade, economics at the global scale. And this economy will grow further by 2025, the way the growth of population and the scarcity of water, reducing the total water resource taking place. This commercialization of water will be further vulnerable. The effect of the water stress have been curse to the human community. Hunger. Scarcity of water is directly linked to the hunger. Different kinds of diseases. Migration. Social, political conflict. as you must have heard, the Sirhind Canal, Yamuna Canal, is a major social, political conflict between Punjab and Haryana. Similarly, conflict of water between Tamil Nadu, Kerala. You have heard the name Mullaperiyar Dam, big news last year. Then you find Kaveri Tribunal between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Crisis of water between Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh, because most of the rivers of Andhra Pradesh draining from Maharashtra. River Kaveri, which is ultimate source of fresh water to Tamil Nadu, it drains from Kerala, it's from Karnataka. A tributary is coming from Kerala. So, lot of social, political conflict. Diseases, different kinds of diseases due to scarcity of water. So, different kinds of problems, stress, its effect, we find different regions in the world. Then, now the another point regarding to water resource I'd like to mention here is a highland, lowland hydrological relationship. Friends, highland, lowland hydrological relationship is a unique. It covers the environment, ecology, human ecology, biosphere from upslope and downslope. Relationship between mountains, plateaus and plains, hills. So, ultimate source of fresh water to the plain regions are mountains. Mountains are water divides. Water drains from the slope to the plain regions provide livelihood conditions. Say, almost half of the world population survive due to the fresh water from Hindu Kush Himalaya region. Pamir Plateau, Central Asian mountains, Himalayas, Karakoram, Tian Shan, Hindu Kush. These mountains having large number of rivers draining out at a centrifugal pattern. River Huangho, Yangtze-Kiang, Sekong, Mekong, River Irrawaddy, Salween, Chindwin, River Brahmaputra, Ganga river system covering Yamuna, Ramganga, Gomti, Ghaghara, Gandak, Kosi, Rapti, Sarda, River Satluj and the tributaries Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, and River Indus, then River Sardariya and Amudariya. If you see, Asia, central mountains are the largest water divide in the world, and through these water, almost half of the world population survive with agriculture, industrial and domestic water. Therefore, Himalayas and the surrounding mountains altogether known as human equator. Human equator, like equator divides earth in two parts, north hemisphere, south hemisphere. Similarly, half of the world population survive due to the Hindu Kush Himalayan Karakoram mountain water. And also, I'd like to mention that apart from the North Pole and South Pole, the Himalaya Karakoram region together cover the largest ice-capped area in the world apart from the poles. Therefore, this cryosphere of Hindu-Kush Himalayan region known as third pole. So if you see the large size of glacier over the North Pole, over the South Pole, and beyond that, the third largest glacial areas are Himalayan mountain region. Therefore, it is called third pole. The distribution of water, see that the third pole theory you can find here in this map, where the rivers I had mentioned you, Wangho, Yangtze Kiang, Sikong, Mekong, Salwin, Chindwin, Irrawaddy, Indus, Brahmaputra, Satluj, Ganga, all the Sardarya, Amudarya system. Almost this region covers more than 50% of the world population. And ultimately, source of water to these regions are mountains. So water from the highland moves to the lowland. This is called highland lowland interactive system. These large areas of the drainage, perhaps largest water divide in the world, and these drainages not only carry fresh water, but also the rivers from the highland carry large amount of sediments, and these sediments provide fertile agricultural land in this region. This is the reason that Gangetic Plain, Indo-Ganga Plain, Ganga-Brahmaputra Plain, Yangtze Plain, Chindwin Plain, Irrawaddy Plain, these river valleys are most fertile river valleys in the world. Therefore, very high density of population because of availability of fresh water along with the fertile agricultural land. So almost more than 50% of the world population survive through these rivers. That's why these central mountains, Himalayan mountain systems known as third pole and human equator. Then the Hindu-Kush Himalayan ecosystem having different kinds of services. One can see how the availability of fresh water is a ultimate source not only for survival. It is food and agriculture, water, energy nexus. You can see the figure, you can analyze that agricultural policy influences water demand. Water needed for energy and energy for water. Energy prices influence water and energy demand. And the energy policy influences water demand and vice versa. So Himalayan ecosystem services will see the provisioning of food, fodder, fuel, fresh water, raw materials, different kinds of pollination, genetic resources, and regulating climatic conditions, water regulation, biological control, the distribution regulation, and regulating the precipitation and monsoon condition. This Hindu-Kush Himalayan region also supporting the recharging groundwater, soil formation, erosion control, water retention, nutrient cycle and movement. And not only this, also it supports cultural, traditional knowledge and practices of conservation, recreation and agro-biodiversity. So Hindu-Kush Himalayan region have the largest water resources, population, and it is the distribution. That's why it is human equator and third pole. Other highland, lowland example I would like to mention, the South America continent, where Andes Mountain is the longest water divide in the world. It divides water, and the snow-fed water, rain-fed water, and the largest river in the world, River Amazon, carry the almost 24% of the total river water drained by river Amazon alone. The Amazon also provide a large potential of navigation from Manaus to Macapa. About 2,700 kilometer distance in the river Amazon is a potential for navigation. And apart from this, the other evidences of the water divides, like Alps mountain water divides, the Alps mountain water divides provide a source of water to the rivers of the Europe continent. And you know, the Europe continent, its culture, its economy, both depends largely on inland water navigation. Inland water navigation. There are interior ports like Paris, like Hamburg, because all rivers are linked and form the canal. Midi Canal, Hamilton Canal, the main canal, Rhine-Rhone Canal, Danube Canal, provide inter-water linkages from one country to other country. Therefore, it is called fishy connectivity. Fishy connectivity is most developed, fishy complementarity is most developed in Europe continent. The major sources of water pollution. Now the other point about water distribution, importance, utilization, now we'll come to the point, the pollution. So garbage choked in drainage system, agro waste, chemical, fertilizer, medicine, and other materials, improper construction of drainage, industrial discharge, oil spilling, pipeline burst. These are the ultimate sources of the water pollution, water degradation. The impact of the water pollution, it forms the drainage choking, health problems, different kinds of cancer, skin problem, respiratory problem, diarrhea, different kinds of gastric problem, soil degradation, degradation of biological oxygen demand, and the loss of flora and fauna, aquatic biosphere. There are different points which we'll discuss on the prevention and control of water pollution. So the different points, it is suggested the sewage control, the waste food material, proper recycling, the vegetable plastics should not be thrown in the drainage water, influence from distilleries, oil leaks and all skin demand, this controlled human behavior, a mechanism to reduce the water pollution. Certain suggestions I'd like to mention. The most important suggestion is change of the mindset of the individual level. Everyone has to become responsible through the education, awareness, and other activities. Awareness through the school level, curriculum-based awareness. Sharing of successful story of the national and international level. Like sharing of successful story In the earlier lecture, I had mentioned few names. I'd like to revise this, remind you that successful story, you can find Dr. Rajendra Prasad in Rajasthan, called Waterman of India. The Jagat Singh Chaudhary Jangali in Uttarakhand, Gochar village, and Sachidanand Bharti. They have created ultimate source of the fresh water, Bhagirath of modern India. Bhagirath of modern India. These are successful stories that should be disseminated, should be demonstrated at the national level. Recycle of wastewater and reduce the reuse of the plastic and recycling of water. Proper drainage infrastructure, use of organic manure, water harvesting, sewage treatment, interlinking of rivers, watershed management, dryland farming. These are the solutions, different solutions. And very brief, I'd like to talk the global level. There is a talk over the water harvesting techniques. If you want to save the future, you have to save the water. If you want to have adequate water to your future generation, you have to save the water. So, water harvesting. There are different kinds of indigenous water harvesting techniques in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, and also the modern one. You can find different techniques. And apart from this, the awareness, education about the geotechnology for water pollution and mitigation, different kinds of remote sensing, GIS. Also, different kinds of rules and regulation over use and misuse of water resources, and interlinking of the rivers. Interlinking of the rivers. As you know, the distribution of water in India is highly imbalanced. The North India have been more rainwater, more underground water because of monsoon, because of alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is more permeable, having more porosity, more permeability, therefore there is large scale underground water. Also, because of the windward effect of the Himalaya, there is more rainfall. So more water in the north. And rain shadow effect in South India, igneous rocks in South India. Igneous rocks is lack of permeability, lack of porosity. Therefore, very less underground water or no underground water. So, if you interlink the river, so water will be supplied from surplus area to deficit area, and we have lot of projects that's going on, and we have very good successful story you can find, like Indira Gandhi Canal, interlinking the river Byas to Satluj, then interlinking Narmada to river Sabarmati, Ken Betwa, interlinking the river Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So many successful examples we have, and this way we can reduce the scarcity of water by interlinking the rivers. Interregional interlinking, intra-regional interlinking of rivers. Then watershed management. Watershed management is a key to develop the remote areas. It's not only to promote or to conserve the fresh water. Watershed management is a key for water resource, land resource, forest resource, social capital, human capital, and biological resources development. Human, social, cultural, economic, ecological, all kinds of parameters achieved by one source, that is called watershed management. In the dryland areas, drought prone areas, hilly areas, mountainous areas, watershed management has become a tool, a source of development. And through the watershed management, there is a control over hunger, control over food crisis. If watershed development could have been planned in Africa, there will be no as such hunger in Somalia, Algeria and other countries. The dryland farming. Dryland farming, a technique of farming in which there is no artificial water supply, no irrigation in the area of less rainfall. Growing the crops of the short duration, mixed farming, interculture, method of moisture concentration. India has developed dryland farming, and almost 40% of the total grain production and almost 66% of total cattle population of India found in the dryland farming areas. A good successful story. So dryland farming, these are different solution for conservation of water resource. So water is not only a commodity of development, life, survival, but also water is a commodity to link the people, to link the man with the God, spiritual linking, social development, social capital, ethical development, moral development through the water resources. Thank you so much.
Definitely, sir. The way you stressed on water, how important water is, you have elaborated it through your lecture. Now my concern is, or everybody's concern is, that water pollution is the major issue which should be talked on, as well as serious attempt should be made, serious effort should be made, so that on one hand, if we wish to conserve water, on the other hand, the water conserved should save from being polluted. What you would like to say on this?
This is true. There, although thanks to our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, who have started Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, definitely a message at the mass level going on, and it is everyone's responsibility, is not one person's responsibility. No doubt he is a Prime Minister of the nation, but we are also the citizen of the nation. We have to support our Prime Minister. We have to support our country. We have to support our people. So with the cleanliness, we can save the water. With cleanliness, you can reduce the water-borne diseases. Good health. So good health, good community, good country, all begins with every individual's initiative to save the water from the pollution, from the degradation.
At personal level, what each individual can do when we talk about saving water, basically?
Yes, there are different methods, right from individual method, household method to community method. Individual, household and community. Say for example, individual level, when we, our daily life, we see many people who used to have saving and the water tap is draining on. So that water is being wasted. That one can see, one can take the water in some pot, can have saving, can have brush. The amount of water which is wasted out at individual level, there is a need to aware them, to educate them, and there are so many educated people. But here it's not only necessary the education and awareness, necessary is self-responsibility. So every individual has to take self-responsibility to save the water. Then household level. Household level, there are so many rich people, they drain large amount of water on washing their cars. It's not irrigating the garden, cleaning the garden. So irrigation is different, that is a need. But draining water, cleaning the garden, that is wastage of water. Household level. Then community level. There are different regions in the country having there is excess water. That water at community level either being degraded, polluted. For example, Punjab, Haryana region. Large scale use of pesticides, chemicals that had degraded contaminated the underground water, surface water. So, individual level, household level, community level, it required all three tier system to save the water, to conserve the water.
This is a very important point you laid, that how and why the water should be conserved. Now here, this is a question, it is a query, in fact you can say that when we conserve water in dams and then when we use that water for construction of electricity, what do you like to say? Does it has any adverse effect, or we could say that no, it's good on the part because it is producing electricity?
See, there is no harm by producing electricity through the water stored in the dam. This is the rather symbol of development. We need dams. We need dams to develop the country. You know, our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who had mentioned that dams are the temples. Dams are the temples for the country. So these dams not only providing hydropower, also providing irrigation water. So these dams are a source of conservation of water. Only threat is that big size of dams could be disaster when it is broken due to earthquake or due to other reasons.
Definitely, you have another important point laid for our particularly this EDUCET lecture, and I think that if every individual take water into concern, that how important water is, first we'll think of how to conserve water, and next how to keep the water clean. All water for which is in our houses as well as the water in the environment. With this note, thank you sir, thank you so very much for delivering such a nice lecture, and I hope that in future lectures also we would be discussing on another important topic so that the students who watch us regularly would be benefited. Thank you sir. Thank you sir.